Hello everyone and welcome to another live stream from the Apex Online Racing GT3 Elite League on the PC platform on Project Cars. This week it's round 3 of 10 for the Season 7 Championship. We are at Laguna Seca for 50 laps of racing with a pretty early start time, 7 AM in-game time, and some interesting fog conditions as you will see now as we jump into the race view. Quite grey and dull, but it is meant to clear up according to the weather report that we have for today. So we are in qualifying at the moment, and I am Fizzy, and last week obviously you might remember that I had Wycombs with me in the commentary box because our usual co-commentator Yorkie had some microphone issues. And although that was nice as well, I am very pleased to report that Yorkie is indeed back with me. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good, Q, considering I now have a working microphone that sounds good and similar to the one that I had previously, so I had to buy a new headset. But yeah, very pleased to be back, and it was actually quite interesting watching the live stream from the other side last week and seeing the experience from the Twitch stream and the viewers and how they see it and how you guys interact and stuff like that. It was a good fun watch.
It's good stuff. Yeah, I'm glad you. Well, I did obviously see you in the chat back then, and it was a pretty interesting race. But no, we had two, interesting races for the start of the season. Laguna Seca. We've not been here since season 4, I believe, but it should hopefully be another interesting race. Let's have a quick look at how the provisional qualifying grid is looking at the moment as we see Nova starting a new flying lap. He is the man currently sitting on provisional pole. The pole sitter, of course, from the season opener at Monza, and he's 1/10 ahead of C-Charf. These two guys, who have been the front two, the standout performers so far this season, coming into this race, they are joined at the top of the championship with a win and a second place each to start off the season. And it seems like it's not really going to change there, with them both being very close at the top. Again, Godfather or Shift, though, putting in a very impressive time so far. 3/10 off only from Charf, and up in third at the moment. Suomi in fourth. I remember from Suomi's interview last week that he was expecting to be pretty competitive around here in the Corvette. The Corvette had struggled, of course, a lot at Monza, but then he managed to get on the podium last time at Brno. And so far in this session, he is P4, Yorkie. In any case, we're looking at Hideaki. Oh, will he have time to get to the line? He should just about have enough time. I think it's going to be very close, actually. He's got 18 seconds. Oh, and he spins it anyway. So it's not going to be an improvement for Hideaki. Lovely save, though. Managed to get it. If that was in the race, that would have been a fantastic job to lose minimal amount of time from that spin. But it's not going to help him in this qualifying session. No more cars out on track as we got 1 second remaining. And here we have the qualifying results. It is Nova this time on pole once again, ahead of Charf, very close. Godfather, Shift, Suomi, Hideaki, Jeff, Sula, Biltis, Crazy B, and Atharion in the top 10. Rillo, Brandris, Enzo, Andrex, Jamai, and Mr. Alkonen following for a pretty low 16-man grid, to be honest. It's quite a few drivers not being here today. I know that F-Mate, Marco, D. Keller, Claessens, Gibbs, at least, we're not able to attend for various reasons. Way! Here we go, finally. We shall have a race. All the cars, 16 of them for this Laguna Seca race, lines up on the grid. And the lights are about to come on. Remember that the grid order at the moment is completely random, not based on qualifying, because we had to restart the session. And here we go, lights are out, and away we do not go as per usual, because we will have the manual rolling start. And
looks like Nova's on the wrong side of the track. Not good.
Yes,
hopefully
I believe so, actually.
Sides.
I believe so.
Yep, they're just coming into the final turn now. Looks like everyone behind him.
Okay,
now he's on the correct side, and everyone else is in the correct place. So
right.
Usual race start.
We shall have a race, and it's gone straight away. Maybe taking Charf by surprise a little bit, but Charf has reacted well enough to keep hold of second. Suomi started in fourth. He is now on the outside of Godfather. Shift through turn 1. Is going to try to hold it on the outside as well, and he has got that move done. Suomi, crucially for him, up to third, and I can hear some contact, Yorkie. What are you seeing back there?
Turn 2 is a Bentley, I believe.
Oh my word! I got a McLaren going upside down on the track. That's very interesting. that is okay, and I'm not sure I've seen that before, but he seems to be driving fine, even though he's on his roof, so we'll just accept that as it is. That's amazing.
It's just, I think it may have been caused by the ghost car. I think a couple of them may have clipped that at the start. There's a couple of people slow going across the line, so definitely not ideal conditions for a number of drivers with this race, but it seems like the leaders have got away okay. Suomi at the moment in third place, being followed by the two Z4s of Godfather and Shift and Hideaki, and there's a little bit of driver swapping going on in the background. Biltis was overtaking one or two drivers. He's run off very, very wide on the exit of turn 9 and seems to be very slow. He's probably got a slow down penalty.
Yeah, he's definitely slowing
down. Dropped
down.
back down into 11th place.
So Biltis in 11th. Vrillo has now flipped his car the right way again. Amazing. McLaren is now driving. Oh, and there's several cars in the pits. That is damage to Brandrus' car. He's in the pits. Hatharion's in the pits. And he's even crashed into the wall in the pits as well. Andrex in the pits. Unfortunately, there has been some calamities towards the back of the field. All those guys having to go in for damage repairs. And Jamai, now the last runner, are the guys who didn't pit then. Mr. Alcon. Then, oh, we got a three-way scrap here with Sula, Crazy Bee and Enzo for P7 at the moment. Ow, and there's a bit of contact there. Sula hitting the back of Crazy Bee, who's now spun into the gravel. Camera not really helping. Crazy Bee is going to have a pretty tough task. Has to wait for Jamai to go through there, and that's going to lose Jamai a lot of time. Luckily, at least, I can't see any visible damage to him. And yeah, Sula taking full blame for that one. Fair play to him, waiting for him. But of course, that is going to really hamper the race of both of those guys.
Yeah, definitely. It was very, very close between those two guys as well, as Crazy Bee was coming back across the circuit. Obviously, he didn't have any control and came right across the front of Sula. Sula obviously recognised that and did slam on the brakes and avoid making contact for the second time, or at least it appeared that they avoid making contact. And yeah, as you say, Sula doing the gentleman thing of waiting for the other driver to catch back up, to now right up underneath the rear wing, coming down through the corkscrew, and looks to be pretty eager to try and actually get the move done and dusted fairly cleanly this time round.
Yep. Hopefully they can do that. So we are looking at the front at the moment. Chaff and Nova close together, as is no surprise. This time it's Nova ahead. Last week, of course, it was Chaff ahead for the whole race. The race before that, it was Nova ahead from pole position. Now it's Nova back in front, but Chaff really keeping up at the moment. And Suomi doing a reasonable job to keep up as well. Godfather Shift has dropped a little bit away from the top 3, but he has got Hideaki for company. These two guys, teammates, of course, in the Padfathers team. Now, Hideaki uses a pad. I'm not sure if Godfather Shift also does, but in any case, they are teammates and the only two BMW Z4s on the grid for this season. Running close together, and a big gap having fallen behind to Jeff, who is quite lonely in that Mercedes. A couple of seconds from him as well, down to Enzo now in the Mercedes AMG. The older cars coming through this kink. Rillo and Bilt is quite close together. Mr. Alcon in the green roof. He's making his first race of the season. Of course, he also raced last season. Jamai now up to 11th as a result of the crash between Sula and Crazy Bee. And let's see, is all of these guys who are pitting still going on the track? It seems like they are, but of course quite a way down the road.
Yeah, hopefully they haven't been lapped. It doesn't look like they have. Having said that, Tharion isn't too far away from Bam Nova. Nova at the moment in first, and Tharion only a few corners up the road. So these guys at the front keep continuing with their pace. I imagine they'll be up to the back of the Bentley relatively quickly. But top 3 have pulled that gap to Godfather or Shift. I wonder if him and Hideaki are going to be in communication and wondering whether it would be beneficial to swap places. Entirely depends who feels more comfortable at this stage and who is faster out of those two teammates in that BMW Z4.
Yeah, of course, they were quite close together last week as well, but no, it was Godfather Shift then who had track position for quite a bit of the race, but then Hideaki came up to him with the seemingly better pace and was able to go through and pull away in the end. They finished both 4th and 5th last week as well, actually. The 2 positions they hold right now, just in reverse positions. So clearly they are quite consistent at this stage of the season in terms of where they are running on the track. Top 3 still close together, that is what we like to see. And Suomi as well in that Corvette keeping up with it sharp still. Of course, a tricky place track to overtake, Yorkie. And like Gator, the reigning champion, suggested in chat earlier, these guys might have to rely a little bit on driver mistakes. Of course, we haven't seen too many mistakes from these drivers this season, and considering the quality of drivers that we have here up at the front, you wouldn't expect many either. But you know, Nova has had a few problems when tyre wear has come into play in the first couple of races, so that could be an effect later on.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, one of the good things about the GT3 cars is, although they do have some aerodynamic grip, they're not too heavily affected by the hole being punched in the air by the car in front, so they can follow each other relatively closely. And obviously, if you're feeling a little bit brave and can follow someone right up against their rear bumper, obviously it applies pressure to that person in front. You may actually be able to force a mistake from another driver, so that's certainly one tactic that they can do. Suomi has dropped off in the Corvette, has actually dropped down to 4th place. Nova's actually starting to come under pressure from Chaff, so not entirely sure what happened to Suomi there, but he's lost the position to Godfather Shift. I think that may have been through the kink turn 6, that he may have lost the car, possibly a half spin, but he's right underneath the rear wing of that Z4 as they come across the start-finish line now to begin lap number 7.
Yep, so Suomi having made mistakes somewhere just as the camera wasn't having him in view. But clearly not a proper spin, must have been just a little slide or something, as he's getting so close to Godfather Shift through the first corner. And of course it's going to be frustrating for him now to try and make this move, because he has to be patient, even though he knows that on pace he should be ahead and up with the top 2. But yeah, he can't afford to make any rash moves here. He has to try and be patient, make sure the move on the Godfather Shift is clean, and then he can put his mind towards closing the gap again.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously Hideaki there behind him as well. He's pretty close company and not far away, so Suomi does make another mistake along the line. Hideaki is right there to try and capitalise on that. Fairly clean coming through the corkscrew that time round. But yeah, Suomi looking to try and pressurise a little bit. And actually looks like Chaff's dropped the back of Nova, 2nd position as well.
Wait. Chaff has taken the lead.
Yes, sorry, yes, you're correct. He's now down in 2nd place.
God damn it, why do these drivers have to make mistakes when we're not looking at them? It's always like this, it's annoying. But unfortunately we can't look everywhere. But yeah, Nova, like Suomi, has made like a very minor mistake somewhere. That has lost him just a couple of seconds, but that has lost him the lead, crucially, to Charf. So Chaff didn't quite lead after the first lap, but he's leading.
Contact between Godfather Shift and Suomi.
Camera, come on! Camera!
I've got them. They were very, very close coming out the exit of turn 2, and Suomi was looking down the inside, and Godfather Shift just, I'm not too sure whether they turned in on each other and made contact, but for the moment Godfather Shift is holding on to 3rd place, but this has brought Hideaki even closer and has actually dropped those back from 2nd place of Nova now. So yeah, battles are heating up at the front of the field. Obviously you guys are very, very eager to try and get track position ahead of one another before these pit stops.
Oh, that is very much over the corner for Godfather Shift, and that is like slow down penalty for him. I did catch some action, guys. I finally caught something on the screen. And yeah, that's Godfather Shift losing several seconds as a result of having to slow down from that corner cut at the exit of the corkscrew, and that is gonna give the position to Hideaki and finally give clear air again to Suomi. But of course, crucial for the championship, whatever mistake Nova made. Maybe that was also a corner cut slowdown, you never know. I can't exactly remember where it happened, but it might have well been through the corkscrew. That will of course be very frustrating for him if that was indeed the case. And yeah, these two guys came into this race joint on top of the championship, 68 points. Both have had a win and a 2nd place so far this season. And now Chaff is in the driving seat after Nova having been ahead in the first few laps. Let's see then if Nova, well, he was 1/10 of a second faster on his qualifying lap, but does he have the pace now in the race to close this gap back down? Could potentially be some side-by-side here. Will he go defensive? Oh, he kind of goes half defensive there. And Build is trying to upbrake him on the outside, but that's a very, very long left-hander that I have to navigate. It's always going to be tricky to be on the outside. For that one, he's got a very good exit though, and Villa didn't see him coming, turned in to the corner. That's a bit of door banging there, potentially some damage to their car. Build is clearly feeling he was not at fault for that, because he is staying ahead, although Villa getting a very good, nice kind of a cutback out of the next corner. They will still be side by side now, going through the left-hander up the hill. Build is with the inside line, gets a better run through the corner, and there we go. Build is making that move. I think it's a hard one to call with that contact, to be honest, because Build has definitely made a bit of a lunge up the inside, but he probably had a good amount of his car you know, next to Rillo at the point Rillo turned in, so maybe a bit of a racing incident. It was always going to be hard, of course, for Rillo to really see him coming. But while those guys were having the quite feisty battle there for P8, we have had another change. Suomi has dropped down to 4th again, this time behind Hideaki, and it's hard to say, of course, whether that's been an actual overtake or if Suomi's had another little mistake somewhere. But either way, Hideaki now up into the podium position of P3. You remember, those who watched at the end of last week's stream will remember the interview with Hideaki where he said that, you know, his aims for the season was to get consistent top 10s and maybe a podium. At the moment, he's on course for that podium. So he will definitely be fighting hard to try and hold on to that one. And the gap looks pretty close to what it was before. So, it seems like these guys continue to match each other on pace.
Oh,
and then
just as you say that, Nova runs wide in the exit of turn 5 there.
Oh, and then he cuts the king.
Quite a lot on the inside. That's a slowdown penalty, surely.
Nova. Now he's going to be
the hill as well.
Behind.
Yep, that's going to cost him an awful lot of time. I was going to say that he's been relatively consistently a couple of attempts slower than Chaff has on the various laps. I also noticed that on the previous lap that Hideaki only gained a couple of attempts over Suomi, so Suomi's mistake must have happened a couple of laps ago, and Hideaki's actually pulled out a little bit of a gap to Suomi as well, pulled a couple of car lengths, and Godfather of Shift is now pretty much right underneath rear wing, only a car length or two behind the back of that Corvette. They come over the line to start another lap. Yeah, Hideaki probably be encouraged to see that Nova isn't too far up the road, and hopefully try to close that gap up a little bit more. And
I think there's been an incident with Sula potentially. Sula's in the pits. Sula is in the pits. So yeah, I just caught on my live timing that he had something going on with Mr. Alcon, I think. And now he's sitting in the pit lane with a lot of damage, unfortunately.
But battle for 4th position. Suomi, Godfather of Shift has got the inside for turn 2 into the braking zone. Suomi's going to try and hold it around the outside though. It's going to be a little bit difficult for him to do that, and it looks like Godfather of Shift has got advantage at the moment as they come on the run down towards turn 3. And he squeezes Suomi on the outside there on the curb on the entry to the corner. Both of them running wide into the gravel though. Godfather of Shift is just a little bit too far into the gravel. And Suomi's got 4th position back. Wow.
Fantastic battle between these two all of a sudden. I'm glad you caught that one.
I was going to say, who says you can't overtake on Laguna Seca?
Yeah. Well, clearly it was Mangator, the reigning champion, but well, he said it was difficult. He didn't say it was impossible, I think. Unless I remember wrongly, but these guys showing that it is possible, regardless of what was said. And Suomi briefly dropping down to P5, but then getting it straight back as the Godfather Shift wasn't quite able to make it stick. We're not quite at the halfway stage of the race yet. It started with 50 laps, so in about 7 laps we should start getting an idea of whether people will do pit stops here. Intentionally, that is. Not just for damage repairs. Oh my word! As Godfather Shift has gone super deep into turn 5, I believe, and that is now side by side up the hill into the kink. This is going to be scary. Suomi on the outside, Godfather Shift getting the position. Suomi doing a good job there to leave him the sufficient amount of room, but has dropped behind. I was a little bit naughty there from Godfather Shift. Came from some distance behind and gave Suomi a little nudge there. Not sure if that was intended for him. or if he expected there to be a bit more space there going into that corner. Either way, Godfather Shift is now ahead and in 4th position. And Suomi has more work to do. It's not really been the best race for him so far, considering where he started. And Suomi goes into the pits after how many laps? So it's 31 to go, so we have done 19. Interesting.
Generally, you tend to expect the drivers to pit around the halfway mark. He's pitted about 5 laps earlier than that halfway mark, so maybe he's just struggling with the tyres a little bit, and there's no that they're probably going to work a little bit better when it comes to the hazy conditions later. But he's actually got McLaren on the outside. He does get out the pits ahead of him, which is ideal for him, as obviously he's now got quite a fair amount of clear track in front of him, and now basically hot lap and try and perform the undercut on Godfather Shift.
Yeah, Suomi now, in just a moment, will start to get held up here and will, of course, need, if he wants to make the undercut work, he can't really afford to get stuck behind. Built this too long here, assuming that Godfather Shift is still running solid lap times up where he is. So, coming into the course.
22.0, Godfather Shift's previous lap.
Okay, interesting. 0 and Suomi had a 20.9, yeah, so on Suomi's first lap on these tires, as he's now going for the move on Biltis, and Biltis wants none of it, to be honest. He probably realizes there that he's on a different strategy to Suomi, and Suomi, you know, he's surprisingly quicker at this stage of the race, and Biltis probably thinking of his own race really there, in that he didn't want a lengthy battle that slowed them both down.
Godfather Shift is in the pits.
Yes. He's responding to
Suomi.
Suomi.
Is coming into the final turn now. I was going to say Suomi's previous laps were quicker than Godfather Shift's, so providing that their pit stops are roughly the same to how they were, I think Suomi may come out with a slight advantage over Godfather Shift. Actually going side by side, coming into this second turn. Obviously Godfather Shift will have the shorter but much tighter route coming through the pit exit. They're going to be very close here on the pit exit. Godfather Shift looks like he's just ahead.
That's amazing how close that is. Suomi so close to making undercut work, but Godfather Shift coming out of the pits, slapping the rear of that Z4 in Suomi's face. And now though Suomi wants to do something about it. Oh, it looks like he was gonna get a bit of space on the outside into this corner, where the two made a little bit of contact earlier in the race, of course. But wow, that is kind of unlucky for Suomi in a way, that is so close to making it work, but Godfather Shift responding to the pit stop challenge at just the right moment and is still ahead in a net P4 in the race.
Yep, but Suomi, as I was saying earlier, will probably have his tyre pressures at a reasonable state now. He'll be kind of brought back up to his rhythm as he was previously, whereas Godfather Shift is just put on a fresh set of boots, so he'll be trying to get used to the fresher rubber, which may take him a lap or two, so Suomi may have a slight advantage to start with, so he needs to get this move done and dusted quickly before Godfather Shift gets up to proper speed and is comfortable on the tyres, because obviously Godfather Shift's tyres are a little bit younger than Suomi, so they'll have slightly better grip. Very close there coming through turn 2 in the braking zone. It looks like the lag for me has subsided and eased off. I can now actually see where the cars are on track.
That is always useful to see where the cars are.
Yes.
So we have had other cars in the pit stops as well. Now Nova pitted from second place, came out in third. We got currently Jeff running up in second place, but yet to stop. Enzo in fourth, but yet to stop. Hideaki did come to the pits about 5 or 4 or 5 seconds ahead of this battle we're looking at right now. Oh, and we got Shift running super wide through the kink there. That's going to lose some time up the hill. And are we going to see a side-by-side into the corkscrew? Godfather Shift so much later on the brakes. Is he going to be able to cut in front? Oh, and that's going to be a slowdown. That's going to be a slowdown for Godfather Shift. He went too deep and cut the corner. And that is going to, at least for now, end the battle, the amazing battle that we've been seeing between Suomi and Godfather Shift. He's dropped a couple of seconds as a result of that. And that was the lapped car of Andrex also slotting him ahead. So he's still in P7 at the moment, as Enzo is in the pits and Jeff also in the pits. It looks like everyone is going to do one stopper. But yeah, that was That was brave from Godfather Shift to try and outbrake Suomi on the outside into the corkscrew. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out, and that has ended this battle for now.
A little bit more like it from down Nova previously on, not the lap that they just done, but the lap before that. Nova was about a second and a half slower than Chaff was. On this time, brought that gap down to half a second difference between the two. But still, Chaff seems to be running away with this one in the lead at the moment and extending that gap to Nova in second place.
Yep. Therefore, starting to fall back into the hands of Chaff in terms of size of the gap. He's always obviously been quite large for a while, but now Chaff is trying to extend it just a little bit more, just to give himself a bit more of a margin, should he decide to make a mistake at some point in the race. But Chaff, it has to be said, I can't even remember a single mistake from him this season, to be honest.
Just actually dropping back to the battle for 6th position between Jeff and Enzo, and Enzo is rather nice and close to the back of Jeff, so hopefully in the next lap or two we shall see some potential overtaking maneuvers going on. It'll provide some nice entertainment for us here, and it looks like Enzo's a little bit later on the brakes than Jeff is in front of him into a number of the corners, which is probably helping him to close up a little bit more and try and stick his nose in somewhere.
Actually, a battle I've noticed between Andrex and Crazybee a lap down. That's just ahead of that battle. Andrex being Enzo's teammate, of course. Crazybee, a driver in the roof in his debut season. It's the second race of the season, and yeah, those guys are looking very close as well. Of course, they are a lap down, but they're still battling for P12, which does give 5 points for the championship, I believe. Yes, it does, and of course, you know, so they're battling for an extra point compared to if they finish 13th.
Yep.
So still something to fight for here. Andrex holding on to that at the moment with seemingly quite a bit of damage on the front of his car, but that might have been repaired. It might just be officials lagging behind a little bit. Might have been repaired while he did his tire change. We'll see. Crazybee, of course, has to worry about it first. Andrex is going to just chill out while Crazybee decides how he's going to play this. Of course, if I was Crazybee, I would just, of course, wait. I would wait as long as possible, you know, until they're clearly knocking on the door and in there. And there we go.
I'd do it here,
and then try to hang on to these guys, so that when Andrex has to let them through, Crazybee might get a chance to follow.
Yep, definitely. That would probably be the best strategy. Actually, Crazybee is kind of going a little bit side by side with Enzo. Coming up towards the kink, but it does slot in behind, so...
At the moment, I'd imagine at around this sort of distance between the cars, Andrex will be shown the blue flag. Let's see how we place this one. With the fast kink now, will he stay ahead into the corkscrew as well, with Jeff following very closely through there. Nice line for the SLS. I imagine that corner with the SLS is quite difficult, considering it is not the best in the high-speed corners, as far as I'm aware, anyway. Oh, and Jeff actually going slow out of the corkscrew, and Enzo given a chance to slip underneath into this corner here, the long left-hander, and there we go. Enzo is ahead all of a sudden, out of nowhere. Jeff just takes a slightly unideal line through the corkscrew, and Enzo is right there to take advantage, and there we go. That was the opportunity that Enzo needed, and he definitely did not hesitate. And now, of course, Andrex surely will be kind to let Enzo through, you'd imagine, and he pulls to the outside, probably with a bit of communication between the two, and of course Jeff is close enough to Enzo to get straight through as well, so we'll not have any problems with Andrex getting in the way.
Battle for P6,
Yep.
I'm hoping you're watching this,
I
Fizzy.
am watching
Enzo
it.
has got Jeff around his outside, going side by side, very respectful driving between the two so far. There's no contact between them, leaving plenty of room, and Jeff gives up the corner there, coming through that right-hander. If he did manage to hang it around the outside, he would have the inside for this corner, and you can go side by side through here. However, Jeff tucking in behind for the moment. It looks like Jeff has got the stronger car of the two, having a little bit of look coming down towards the kink, but Enzo blocked that one off relatively quickly. Both of them running a tiny bit wide there on the exit of the corner, coming down towards coming up towards, should I say, the corkscrew as it's going up the hill. Time, both drivers very nice and clean through that. Nice wide line, bringing it back in towards the apex and running the inside curb, both of them. Seems like Jeff is just following Enzo at the moment. Hopefully he doesn't follow him too much, that if Enzo makes a mistake that Jeff goes with him. But yeah, good close battling between these two drivers as they come into the last 6 laps.
Yeah, good to see Jeff fighting back here. Mercedes versus Mercedes battle. Mercedes AMG versus Mercedes SLS. The SLS very fast on the straight, as we know, is closing down into the brakes over turn 1. Enzo deciding last minute to move a little bit to the inside, which scared Jeff away from trying to make a dive bomb there. He thought like it was, kind of looked like he was thinking of it with the line he was taking towards the braking zone, but then Enzo just made sure there was no chance of that happening.
Yep, and they got a little bit of traffic in front of them with the Aston Martin. It's got quite a lot of damage. He's getting very wiggly over the curb there as well. That could potentially hinder Enzo through this corner, which will bring Jeff a little bit closer. The Aston Martin needs to move out of the way relatively quickly to avoid holding up these two guys and affecting the battle. He does move over to the right-hand side of the left-hand side of the track this time to let Enzo through. Jeff is going to follow him through as well, and Jeff seems to have a little bit of a run here at Enzo. Enzo going defensive as they come into turn 2, the Andretti hairpin. Jeff not going to try and follow him around the outside, and instead is going to tuck in underneath, and is going to follow him through for the moment. So Jeff is opening up the corner a little bit more there in that 3rd turn, and now coming into turn 4.
It's all about concentration, really. Jeff is clearly pushing hard to spot any opportunity that might come his way. Try and get an exceptionally good run out of a corner somewhere to give him a chance on this straight with that SLS power. But Enzo needs just to focus on the apex, just focus on the braking points, focus on keeping it nice and stable in the traction zones, which he wasn't really able to do there because he ran a little bit too deep on the curb. And here we go, 2 laps remaining, and the battle for 6th place is side by side, heading down into turn 1. Enzo defending that inside line. Who's going to be braver on the brakes? SLS, Jeff braking a lot later, but that's going to beat him too wide on the corner, and the way around the outside there was too big. Enzo defending slightly on the next one as well, getting very close in the braking zone. Jeff with a wider entry could maybe give him better exit, but very short straight into here. So I think Enzo once again has managed to fend off the attack after getting a poor run out of the final corner, and so far it's looking good. But yeah, Jeff is right there. Enzo really can't afford more mistakes, I would think, or else Jeff will be very, very feisty to try and get this position.
Wow, just saw, I believe it was Crazy B get pretty sideways through turn 5 and just drifted it through. It's basically just taking a look to see where Chaff was in terms of the lead, and then actually he's not actually too far back from this battle, so we should be able to watch these two guys go over the line and possibly fight through the first couple of turns. As they're doing it, actually Jeff will come over across the line to take his 2nd win of the season, but for the moment Jeff following Enzo through the final turn and heading across the start-finish line to start their final lap now.
Yep.
As they come on the run down towards turn 1, will Jeff have a little bit more of a look on Enzo? Enzo going very, very defensive, coming in that inside line. Jeff trying to go around the outside, but running a little bit too deep there. Won't quite be able to tuck underneath.
Just to point that out, Charf has gotten to the line without any problems, and he has won this round 3 of the season at Laguna Seca. But yeah, we will, Yorkie, take us through this last lap battle between the Mercedes guys.
Yep, so Jeff getting a reasonable exit out of here, so did Enzo. Enzo actually going pretty defensive initially, coming into turn 5 to cover off the inside and prevent any attack from Jeff. They're following each other through for the moment, but it looks like Jeff's got a pretty decent run, having a little bit of a look towards the kink, but thinks better of it. And that little look may have cost him actually a chance of getting any kind of look in throughout the remainder of this race, as they're coming towards he's getting very, very close though, coming into the corkscrew. If he can get a good exit coming out of here, he could hold relatively close. He's taking a tighter line coming through this very long turn 9. There's just 2 more corners to go, so he needs to get a really good exit coming out of this penultimate turn here to have a little bit of a lunge.
Yep.
Coming down towards the final turn. He is not going to go for the inside, so he's purely relying on the top of the SLS.
Here we go. He's not far behind, but surely.
Very close.
He's already weaving, he knows he's got this, and there we go. Enzo wins the battle for P6. Super close racing between these guys. I'm glad that they gave us a nice battle in the last few laps, and Enzo clearly happy to have managed to hold on from Jeff. They only swapped positions once. That was when Jeff went slightly wide out of the corkscrew. Enzo slipped through. Enzo made a few minor mistakes, but managed to defend the attacks that Jeff had back on him. So Enzo very much deserved to hold onto that P6 position. Chaff then, he won the race ahead of Nova. Hideaki in a P3, getting that podium finish that he said last week in an interview that he wanted for this season. So that's a target done for him. Suomi, unfortunately, had some mistakes. Could have had a pace maybe to challenge first, or at least second, but those mistakes means that he was not able to do that as his car is driving out of the pits again, which is interesting.
He went flying through the pit lane as well.
Flying full speed through the pit. And then Enzo, of course, actually it says Enzo's P5. Yeah, someone must have dropped from the lobby. And you can see the other positions further down. Right, hello once again in the commentary box, Mr. Charf.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
What can we say? It's a race win for you again, second on the trot. You will take the championship lead now by 2 points because Nova, of course, getting the pole position points. You started in second. We didn't exactly see what happened to Nova, I believe. So how did you get into the lead all of a sudden?
Yeah, I think it was. I'm not sure which lap it was, but in the corkscrew he got a track penalty, and from that I gained P1. And yeah, after that we were like 3-4 seconds apart, jumping up and down a bit every lap. And yeah, I think then it already came to the pits, and he tried the undercut, which gained him like about a second, I think. And yeah, after that he made 1 or 2 mistakes, which caused the gap to be a bit bigger after that. And yeah, the race in general, that track is pretty hard with the curbs. If you hit a curb the wrong way, then you're gonna spin out, and on that track you can easily hit a wall, and that might be in the race for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it worked out well. So yeah.
Cool. And so,
Busy.
hey,
Hello.
how are you doing? Are you still sweating?
Very.
How much
Jeez.
sweat do you have in your room currently?
Well, the house is flooding.
That's
That
surprising.
is
Yeah.
a horrible image to have in your head.
You should probably get out of there in that
You
case.
sweating professionally. Yeah.
What a race. That was amazing.
Yeah, tell
I
us
was going
about
to say
it.
that's a very interesting battle between you and Jeff there. Where did you,
SLS versus AMG.
Yeah.
yeah. Where did you come from? Where did you qualify again?
13th.
13.
And-
So you gained, you gained a whole load of positions, work your way up through the field, managed to catch up with Jeff, get past Jeff, and then have an almighty battle with Jeff. End of
Yeah.
the race.
Well,
Jeff.
you can call it a battle, or I call it being a bus and just making the car as wide as I possibly can.
Make
Yeah.
your car a bus.
Yeah, all the way from lap 10, the whole race, we never... It was always within 5 seconds, all the way up until the last lap. It was just constantly chasing Jeff down and then trying to keep him behind me. Also, I was trying to work through back markers and such. The goal for this season is probably just to stay with Jeff now, because I'd say our pace is fairly evenly matched, and it's just trying to see what we can get out of the cars. I mean, that's what made today's battle so interesting. It is something you'd never really expect to see, and as high up in the order as it was as well.
Yeah. Definitely.
Your channel.
Hideaki!
Busy.
Hello.
You got your podium already!
Oh god, didn't think it was gonna happen this week.
So yeah, I mean, you qualified 5th, was it?
Yeah.
Not bad. And then I would say you didn't make any mistakes, did you? That I really saw.
Not a single one.
Not a single one. That is mightily impressive, especially on the pad. I mean, I know you're amazing on the pad, but you know, I think of myself driving with the pad, and you know, can't even turn properly. So, yeah. And you said last week, of course, your aim for the season was to get the podium, and you got it. What's he gonna aim for now then?
The win.
Well, that'd be the logical choice, but as long
Or
as
another
Nose and
podium?
Chaff turn up. Yeah, another podium's doable. I think with the tracks coming up, definitely. I mean,
Any
this is not one
particular-
of the ones I targeted one on.
I was gonna say, is there any particular tracks that you're looking forward to in the next couple of weeks?
Watkins Glen looks good. It's a Z4 track, and the rain will help against the power cars. So I think that's a good shout.
Yeah, of course. The championship battle still raging on despite Chaff winning by quite a margin here today. Only 2 points ahead of Nova at the top of the championship after 3 out of 10 rounds of the season. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Will anyone else mix himself into the battle for the win, I wonder? You will have to wait and see. And of course, hopefully there'll be some good more battles throughout the field for us to enjoy. Hopefully with a bit more than 16 drivers on the grid as well. Hopefully some of the guys who couldn't attend today will be back for next week. So, Yorkie, as usual, thanks for joining me in the box. And for those who are still here, thank you very much for watching the stream. Hope you enjoyed it. And we will catch you next week at the usual time, 7:45 p.m.-ish UK time, next Wednesday for Snetterton. Good night.
Cool. Bye.